history and culture so important.
We are living in a time that's as evil as any time that there has ever been. You know, when I was a young man, I studied medieval times. That's what they did. They chopped off heads.
The Continental Army suffered a bitter winter of Valley Forge. Our army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
People don't realize, you know, the Civil War, you think about it, why? People don't ask that question. But why was there the Civil War? Why could that one not have been worked out?
People don't realize, you know, if you go back to the Civil War, it was the Republicans that really did the thing.
So Robert E. Lee was a great general, and Abraham Lincoln developed a phobia. Honest Abe. I wonder if he was really that honest, but you know what? Let's assume Honest Abe was Honest Abe. But Lincoln had almost developed a phobia because he was having a hard time with a true great fighter and a great general, Robert E. Lee. He was going crazy. I don't know if you know this story. General Grant. The great General Ulysses S. Grant. He went in and he knocked the hell out of everyone. He had a serious problem, a serious drinking problem. But man, was he a good general. And he's finally being recognized as a great general. Frederick Douglass is an example of somebody who's done an amazing job and is being recognized more and more, I notice.
Had Andrew Jackson been a little bit later, you wouldn't have had the Civil War. He was really angry that he saw what was happening with regard to the Civil War. He said, there's no reason for this.
And remember one thing, because I always consider him to be a true great, and people never give us credit for this. Abraham Lincoln was a Republican, right?
They always said nobody got treated worse than Lincoln. I believe I am treated worse.
We weren't allowed any rights. We had, for the first time in the history of our country, we had virtually no rights, no due process. So the great tariff debate of 1888, we had so much money, we could do whatever we wanted. Then in 1913, they ended tariffs, okay? Somebody got stupid, and they ended tariffs. And then in 1928, you had the Great Depression. For a lot of different reasons, not necessarily our country's fault, but a little bit our country's fault.
And I mean, people forget that at that time, Hitler was virtually unstoppable. He was going through countries like cheese.
America built the Empire State Building in just 1 year. Believe it or not, in 9 months. Can you believe that? They say a wall is medieval. Well, so is a wheel. A wheel is older than a wall. The wheel is older than the wall. You know that?
During a heated phone conversation with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau regarding tariffs, Trump asked, quote, "Didn't you guys burn down the White House?" Trump was apparently referring to the War of 1812, which was fought against the British. The British burned down the White House, the original White House in 1814. The British.
We have to understand our past. We have to understand our history. Because if we don't know our history, it could all happen again. Have to know our history. Melania told me this. Can you believe this? She's like giving me a history lesson. Our First Lady is giving me a history.